What's going on, everybody? We were here, back with a brand new episode of Umineko When They Cry. Last time on, we saw a couple scenes with two great characters, Rosa and Maria, which each scene with them in it are super happy. Nothing bad ever went wrong. There was no awkwardness. There was just none of that at all. Okay, I'm lying. There was a lot of awkwardness in those scenes, and they were executed excellently. But by God, were they uncomfortable as all hell. But after they arrived to the airport, we have finally caught up with the main event of this game, which is the conference. And right now, Maria got the letter from Beatrice, and Rosa also saw Beatrice as well. And now Beatrice is just walking right into the mansion this time around. I guess she's not doing the whole hidden stuff anymore, which I don't know why the hell she's doing that. Why she's just revealing to herself to the family, revealing herself to Rosa and now Genji. I have no idea why she's doing that. But there was also a couple of clarifications from last time. One is that Kyrie does have a daughter, and it was mentioned before, which her name is Angie. It was mentioned in the first episode that she was sick and couldn't come to the conference, and she's staying with Kyrie's family. Gotcha. Because I completely forgot about that mention. Just wiped it from my brain. Because, let's be honest here, there is a lot in this game. We're only on episode 2, and look at the playtime, 28 hours. There's a lot, so be freely, correct me on some things I may forget, and I probably will forget some things here and there, but I'll try not to. Another clarification is Rosa's whole thing about wanting the money is someone told me that her husband had a loan and she co-signed it, and when he couldn't pay it off, he left, and now Rosa's in a whole bunch of debt, and that's why she wants the money so much. I don't know if it's ever clarified in the game at all, or maybe it's just implied at all, but it's not a huge spoiler or anything. It's just mere backstory to Rosa, but it makes a lot of sense. It honestly makes so much sense for why the father is gone. One last thing, a comment I found very funny is someone mentioned how everyone comes into the story expecting a detective story. It has the whole cliche, it has all the murder mystery tropes, a remote mansion in the middle of nowhere with 18 people, all of which want the inheritance from the granddad and all that. But now here in episode 2, we're trying to figure out the damn magic system in this game and how Beatrice works and how any of this magic shit works, which is, it's a twist. It's same thing with Higurashi as well. Ryukushi 07 really likes to turn these genres he uses on its head and make it completely different. Like Higurashi was from the outside, a slice of life, simple, murder, but it got a whole lot deeper, which I think is one of his standout skills as a writer, which is to take tropes and turn them on their head and make something completely new out of them. So enough talking, let's get right into it. When the witch reached the entrance hall, Genji could be seen there. Genji welcomed the guest, approaching from the entrance hall with a respectful bow.
"お待ちいたしておりました。ベアトリーチェ様."
Yeah, we got something. Was that the characters or tips? Let's see, Genji. Has served, okay, that must have been a tip sound. Tips. The grimoire. Ooh. Sandora? No. The hell is that, sound then? That's just the epitaph. Okay, I'll look into it later.
久しぶりだな、源氏。老いたではないか、
どれほどに追いようとも家具は家具らしく、最後までお務めを果たすのみでございます。
あれの妻がお前に嫉妬したことも懐かしい。金蔵は元気か？
Man's wife, huh?
大変お元気にございます。
Who's she referring to? The witch probably laughed because she knew Kinzo's own doctor had announced that Kinzo didn't have long to live. However, if anyone actually looked at Kinzo and noticed his vigor, which wasn't at all what you expect for someone nearing the end of his life, they might easily call that doing extremely well. Maybe that's what the witch was laughing at.
挨拶に行こうではないか。30年ぶりに互いに呪いの言葉を吐き合うもよかろう。
30 years. Okay. As the witch grinned, she started walking, leaving Genji behind. Her gait was that of a family member who knew the inside of the mansion well. Genji followed her in the manner of one who served her. So I guess Genji did see Beatrice 30 years ago. Interesting. At that time, Kyrie came out of the parlor. She'd probably gone out to fix her makeup or something. And when she saw Genji following a witch, she was surprised, although her expression did not change. I guess for Kinzo had arrived, despite him being almost dead on the day of the family conference when the fate of the inheritance was to be decided. And furthermore, this person was familiar enough with the Ushio Mira family household that Genji was following behind her. Kyrie immediately realized that this person she had never met before was deeply important. Kyrie and the witch's eyes met. Realizing that it would be rude to pretend not to notice, she greeted the witch.
はじめまして。ルドルフの5歳だったか。
さようでございます。ルドルフ様の今の奥方様であられます。キリエ様でございます。
From this exchange, Kyrie realized that this was a guest of fairly high rank, even amidst the Ushio Mira family. And the fact that this was a guest on that level, coupled with her resemblance to the portrait in the entrance hall, made Kyrie's eyes instantly open wide. Freaky. Oh shit!
はじめまして。キリエと申します。初対面でしょうか。もし以前に挨拶をしていたなら、名前を忘れてしまって申し訳ございません。うすうすは想像がついているくせに、わらわにあえて名乗らそうというのか。
Kyrie thought she'd given a sociable and humble greeting. Her expression grew slightly cloudy at that openly oppressive response. At any rate, this doesn't seem to be a person she could grow to like. But if Kyrie's guesses were correct, this witch probably held a vital key to what her own husband was most interested in. Something that couldn't help but influence tonight's family conference. So without shooting back a retort, Kyrie silently watched her go up the stairs to the second floor with Genji following behind. Huh. I wonder if this casual outfit Beatrice has is her, like, human form. As we saw with, Burn Castle, which is, Rika. Maybe witches have their witch form and their human form. Because she doesn't have the pipe with her. Which is interesting to note. Huh. But why the hell is she doing this now? Well, why do all the secret shit back in episode 1? So when someone tapped her shoulder from behind, she was so surprised she almost choked. It was Natsuhi.
キリエさん、このようなところに立ち尽くしていかがなさいましたか？ごめんなさい。ちょっと魔女の肖像画に見とれていただけです。黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェですか？今日の後宮家の復興は彼女が授けた黄金がなければ成し遂げられなかったとか。お父様らしい幻想的なお話ですね。
Natsuhi spoke in a perfectly ordinary way. It was the sort of comment you'd expect from someone convinced that the thought of a witch existing was ridiculous, no more than another of Kinzo's ramblings. However, for some reason, that point of view didn't seem quite right to Kyrie now. Just a moment ago, she herself had seen the Golden Witch come in from the entrance hall and climb up the stairs. So Natsuhi's words made it feel as though someone was trying to deny the existence of that person. Or else it'd make it seem like she was never there to begin with.
ごめんなさい。少し頭痛がする気がして、ちょっと休もうと思います。あら、そうですか？なら、良い頭痛薬がありますよ。
You have no idea how much aspirin I have.
用意させましょう。
Just fucking drawers and drawers of fucking aspirin. Huh. I keep thinking of, like, is Beatrice, you know, well, Beatrice is there, but is only certain people able to see her? Or is everybody able to see her? We don't know, we quite don't know yet. Rosa was able to see her, Kyrie was able to see her, Genji definitely saw her. And does it work on that whole belief system that, you know, I feel like the magic system in this universe is working on belief? So, I don't know. The hallway in front of Kinzo's study was filled with the scent of sweet poison, peculiar to that green liquor. Genji, who was completely used to it, did not grimace. And the Golden Witch didn't grimace either.
この中からどれほど出ぬのか。
すでに数年になるかと思います。
Damn.
それほどまでにわらわをカゴの鳥としたいか。哀れな。
I wonder the reason why Beatrice is taking the much more straightforward strategy here is each episode going to be a different strategy for Beatrice? With episode 1 being the whole hiding, this episode is going to be just straightforward. Since the whole setup for this is, you know, Badori versus Beatrice in this, you know, chess game, right? So I guess she would change her strategy. Okay. Maybe.
それを願うそなたが今やカゴの鳥、書斎の亡霊ではないか。それに気づけぬとは哀れな男よ。
あなた様と再びお会いする日まではおそらく文字通り亡霊となっても研究を続けられるでしょう。
愛か狂気か猛襲か、それも講じれば魔力となるか。悲しき魔術師よ。
The witch crafts the doorknob to the study. Yeah, when she did, there was a sound like that of flesh burning and splitting open. Scorpion. It was the sound of the doorknob literally burning the witch's hand.
ベアトリーチェ様。
なんだこれは。魔除けか。あやつめ、こんなものに頼らなければ、おのがみも保てぬというのか。
その扉はベアトリーチェ様にはおつらいものと伺っております。私がお開けいたしましょうか。
いや、よい。あやつが勝てばわらわは永遠のカゴの鳥。あやつが負ければ愛に狂い全てを失った哀れな魔術師の生涯が笑い草となって残るだけ。
Oh my god. I just realized something. The epitaph is something Kinzo just made up. He isn't trying to resurrect Beatrice. He's trying to trap her for all eternity. That's the ritual. Because Beatrice is alive, obviously. So that's the ritual. I guess in his mind, resurrecting her, you know, means getting back together with him. That has to be it. That would make the most sense. Okay. Well, actually. Wait a second. I'm thinking of something. I'm getting onto something. What if the first episode's letter, the very first letter Beatrice, or Beatrice in quotations, gave to Maria was how you need to solve the epitaph in order to get the gold and live. What if the first episode's events were constructed by Kinzo in order to resurrect Beatrice, or get back together with him? Son of a bitch, I think I'm onto something. That would make a lot of sense. Because in episode 1, the murders were easily able to be, or most of them could be constructed so someone could actually kill them. But here in episode 2, we obviously have Beatrice here, and we've seen magical shit actually happen. Oh shit. Okay, alright, I'll go with that for right now. I'll go with that.
もはや金蔵もわらわさえもゲーム盤に並べられた駒に過ぎぬ。あとはルーレットの目が勝敗を分けるだけよ。ルーレットが目を見せるまでわらわと金蔵が再会する必要はない。
The witch looked at her hand, which was beginning to heal bit by bit, even though it had already been horribly burned.
あるいはそのための魔除けなのか。なるほど。それもまた潔し。すべては今や金蔵のゲーム盤の上よ。気に入ったぞ金蔵。そなたとのゲーム楽しませてもらうぞ。わらわに恋焦がれすべての生涯を投げ出したローマ術師の最後のギャンブル、その散りざまを楽しませてもらうぞ。
Well then. The roulette decides who wins. This damn roulette. Be it dice or roulettes.
失礼いたします。昼食をお持ちいたしました。入れ。失礼いたします。
After receiving approval, Kanon entered the VIP room, pushing the servant card that carried lunch. Servants called this room the Witch's VIP room. That was because Kinzo strictly ordered that it always be kept clean so that it can be used at any time. Even so, guests would not be allowed into this room no matter who they were. That's why at some point the servants had started calling it the VIP room, which was supposed to be set aside only to welcome the special person Kinzo waited for. The witch from that portrait. And today, Kanon realized that this was absolutely true. This looks kind of familiar. When he entered the room, the blonde-haired witch was gazing out the window. Outside, the rain was no longer falling weakly. As she looked out at the beautiful rose garden, which had been tended to over several days for today's sake, she saw the winds and rain ravage it. Was she struck by some sentimental feelings? Kanon was not able to tell anything more from her back, which faced him.
お食事の用意をさせていただきます。ベアトリーチェ様。
Kanon went out of his way to call out the witch's name, hoping that she'd turn around. He wanted to know. He wanted to know if the witch who tempted him and Shannon in the past had really appeared again. When he did, the witch whose name had been called laughed, her back still facing him. Holding back her voice, she laughed. Kanon was startled. It was almost as though she had read his mind and knew that he had called out to her, hoping to make her turn around.
良い匂いだな。どうやらクラウスは良い料理人を入れたと見える。
はい。近年入ったゴーダという料理人です。
料理の腕が良きことは何にも勝るものよ。美食は人の世で生きる快楽の山中をなす。千年を飽きぬにはこれを欠かさぬが秘訣よ。
Ken and the witch's eyes met. Then she grinned. Without a doubt, certainly, this was clearly the witch from that day, Beatrice. The witch that no one but he and Shannon could see in the past finally held a form and had arrived openly as a guest through the entrance hall.
Beatrice様。
久しぶりよの。家具のカノン。
お久しぶりでございます。
Kanon tried to remember to be polite to this guest for the time being, but the visit of the suspicious witch made dark clouds start to enshroud his heart, especially considering that today was their family conference.
何をしに現れたのかと気が気でならぬと見える。そうであろう。
Kanon didn't force an answer. This witch probably reads minds, so its point was to go to trouble saying out loud. Of course, she could even read even his inner resistance. So the witch giggled at Kanon's childish defiance.
金蔵との最後の約束を果たしに来た。
親方様との最後の約束。
わらわは金蔵に山をなす黄金を貸し付けた。それを金蔵が放棄するとき、わらわは利子をつけて返却を受けることになっておる。今宵、それをもらい受けに来た。
Okay, so I guess the letter she gave Maria in this episode is probably the same as last episode. So it's probably not Kinzo doing in the first episode. Okay. But now the question is, what does resurrect mean in the epitaph? What does it really mean, resurrect? Possibly get Beatrice at her full power? Perhaps? Maybe.
僕には何の話か分かりません。
However, uncertainty began to gather in his heart. Whatever this witch had to say couldn't be anything good.
違いない。魔女の話にろくなものはないぞ。そなたは正しい。されど魔女とハサミは使いようだ。ソロモン王のように偉業を成し遂げる者も時にはおる。最も多くの場合は童話が語るようにろくな目に遭わんがな。しかし金蔵も食えぬ。わらわの利子の取り立てすらも自らの儀式に取り込みおった。わらわをも超えるとてつもない大魔術師か。さもなければ狂気に取りつかれたただの知れ者か。面白い。実に面白い。
Kanon couldn't guess what the witch was muttering and laughing about. All he knew was that anything that made this witch laugh must have been the exact opposite meaning for everyone else. And in the back of his mind, the horrifying words the witch had spat at him in the past began to resurface. What, did you think I'd lend you my power and ask for nothing in exchange? I'll gladly assist the pair in love. In exchange, I'll enjoy watching the cruel fate they'll eventually meet. I've never come across a better show, not over the course of 1,000 years.
まさかお前は。
懐かしき故郷を貫く鮎の川、黄金鏡を目指す者よ。これを下りて鍵を探せ。
The witch suddenly began to recite a bizarre poem. Epitaph. It was something he remembered hearing.
それはまさか魔女の碑文。
There was no mistake. It was the epitaph that accompanied the portrait of the witch Kinzo had put on display. The relatives had guessed that it would refer to the location of the hidden gold, but no one knew what it meant for sure. The witch suddenly began reciting that epitaph.
カノン、家具である貴様なら金蔵から聞いていよう。すべてを黄金鏡へ返す日がやってきたのだ。喜ぶがいい。お前の恥辱にまみれた家具の日々がようやく終わる時がやってきたのだ。お前はそれをずっと望んできたはず。自らに存在価値を持たぬ家具にとってただ存在するだけの日々は苦痛に他ならない。魂ある者にとって写しよは固執すべきものだが、亡き者にとって写しよは苦害でしかないからの。
Complicated expressions flirted across Kanon's face. This was the day of release that Kanon had been looking forward to. However, the coming of this day had been mercilessly sudden. And for some reason he didn't like the hateful tone used by this witch as she informed him of the coming of this long-awaited day of rest. Kanon couldn't even decide what emotion he should be feeling.
なぜに喜ばぬ。それとも写しよに何かの未練があるというのか。家具の分際で。
未練などない。僕は 家具だから
貴様は実に模範的な家具だな。よいよい。しかし何の未練もないとはつくづく面白みのない。
未練こそがお前の快楽だというのか。
その通り。1000年も生きると大抵の魔女は生き飽きる。わらわは退屈から逃れるために人間たちの運命にブランデーや果実を練り込み、ケーキのように焼き上げるのだ。オーブンの中で苛烈な運命に踊る人間たちのなんと面白きこと。わらわはこの方面にかけてはちと知られていてな。わらわの料理の腕を見に、時には遠方から珍客が見物に来ることすらあるくらいよ。
I only saw one of those guys.
言っても家具ごときには理解できぬか。
Adorn wife people's fates with brandy, huh? So Beatrice has the power to change people's, not change people's fates, but add more to it. Add drama to it. Best way to put it. Huh. Kanon couldn't understand what the witch was saying. However, he fully realized that this was a terrifying being who treated the fate of humans as a show, enjoying it whenever some harm befell them. However, furniture has no solo life, much less a fate. Pitiful furniture does nothing but serve until the day they were released from the real world. To furniture like that, the witch who had come to release them from everything was a being to be received with overflowing affection. Even though the day Kanon should have been waiting impatiently for had come, he was confused by his own inability to accept it easily. Why was it? The face of Shannon, the person he loved as a sister, rose to his mind. And for some reason, Jessica's face did too. Oh. Kanon bit his lower lip hard enough that it hurt. Thinking about Jessica like that was something furniture must never do. Even though he thought he'd known that, even though he'd complained about Shannon's relationship, why was it that Jessica rose into his mind at a time like this? He felt a little shameful at his own naivety. And to forget about Jessica, he turned his thoughts to Shannon. Shannon is also furniture. She has no reason not to rejoice at the coming of the day when all will return to nothingness. But Shannon, though through her relationship with George, has experienced an emotion forbidden to furniture. Even though she isn't qualified to be bonded with him, she's still trapped in a dream that she isn't allowed to have. Will Shannon be able to joyfully accept this development? No, she won't. Shannon still has lingering regrets. Those will probably become a great source of pain and torture for her. And those lingering regrets were planted by none other than this witch. Why? Because that would be more interesting, nothing more.
シャノンは待ちわびていたはずの日に知ってはならない感情を持ち、とても辛い思いを強いられるだろう。僕たち家具を解放する日を手土産に訪れてくれたあなたに感謝する。そしてシャノンにその日を受け入れがたくしたお前を憎む。
お前もシャノン同様に未練に苦しませてやりたかったぞ。しかしお前は愚直に家具であり続け、わらわに籠絡されることもなかった。しかし シャノンを慕いすぎたようだな。シャノンの未練がそなたの未練となる。それはわらわへの憎悪へと変わるのか？わらわを殺したくば殺してみるがよい。金蔵の家具ならばその程度の力は持っていよう。しかしわらわを殺せば家具どもに安息の日は永遠に訪れぬぞ。そなたにそれが耐えられるのか？わらわによる解放を本当に拒むことができるのか？ひざまずけ。
何を？
ひざまずき、わらわの靴に口づけをするがよい。
Shit.
さもなくばわらわはこの場を立ち去ろうぞ。帰りて永遠に姿を現さぬ。のう、カノン、そなたはそれに耐えられるのか？黄金鏡の扉が開かれればそなたの苦難に満ちた家具の生は終わろう。望むならば人間としての生を与えてもよい。さすればもはやジェシカとは対等。貴様も知りたいはずだ、恋の味が。隠そうとも知っておるぞ。甘き恋の沼にて溺れるシャノンを見てそなたは羨ましがっている。恋の味を知りたくてうずうずしておるのよ。
やめろ、やめろ。
What a goddamn snake.
僕を再び籠絡するつもりか。僕はお前を楽しませるためのおもちゃになり果てたりしない。
ほう、ならばシャノンで満足するとしよう。まいた種はそなただけではないのでな。時には実を結ばぬ果実もある。鍵を手にせし者は以下に従いて黄金鏡へ旅立つべし。第一の番に鍵の選びし6人を生贄に捧げよ。第二の番に残されし者は寄り添う2人を引き裂け。
The witch recited the epitaph again. It was so sudden and diverged so strongly from the current topic. However, that challenging smile made it seem almost as though she was using that epitaph as a threat against Kanon.
わからぬか？この非分の儀式を成し遂げるには第二の番に寄り添う2人を生贄に捧げねばならぬ。寄り添う2人は誰でもよい。夫婦でもよいし恋人同士でもよい。
Husband and wife, yeah.
誰を選ぶかは儀式のルールにのっとりわらわが気まぐれに決めてよいことになっている。今のシャノンならこれほどふさわしい第二の番の生贄もないとは思わぬか？
卑劣な。
Kanon realized something. Until today, he thought he'd given up everything else and lived as furniture, acting like furniture. But in reality, that wasn't true. He loved Shannon too dearly. Therefore, when Shannon was in pain, Kanon shared in that. If only Shannon had continued to live as furniture, indifferently like Kanon, without any regrets in this world, he wouldn't have to be in so much pain. The witch planned to toy with Shannon, who had known the taste of love, no, whom she taught the taste of love as she killed her. She wouldn't be welcomed to the Golden Land and granted a compassionate release. Instead, if the witch had her way, she'd be used as a sacrifice, subjected to the utmost of torture and pain, and forcibly turned into a human foundation for this evil ceremony. And this witch would probably make Shannon meet this horrible fate for no reason other than that it was amusing to her. Furthermore, she was threatening to do this so that she could make Kanon, who had never submitted to the witch, finally give in. It was that simple. In the end, though he had tried to resist the witch and avoid pleasing her, he had only made things more amusing for her. After all, he was furniture. No, a toy. They were nothing but toys meant only to distract her from her boredom.
No, suru Kanon. ひざまずけばシャノンを生贄に選ぶことを控えんこともないぞ。お前のような玩具を一度屈服させてみたかった。
What a goddamn fucking witch, man. Without even a fragment of elegance, the witch sneered at Kanon and laughed in a decent way. That's right, she predicted Kanon's submission even before he made that decision himself. Kanon chose to get down on both knees in front of the witch. It didn't matter what happened to himself. However, the only thing he couldn't bear to see was Shannon, who had given him his only reason to live during his days as furniture, being toyed with like this. That was why kissing the shoes of the witch was an easy oath for Kanon to make. When his quivering lips actually touched the witch's shoe, Beatrice let a look of ecstasy rise to her face, then laughed with a voice filled to bursting. At that moment, the witch, who had grown bored of life after 1,000 years, was completely filled with the evil emotion that she lived for. Holy shit, man. Fucking Kanon, dude. Fuck. God. How do they escape this fate? Which the family finds themselves in. God. Man. That's the only thing Kanon's living for, is Shannon. He doesn't care about himself at all. He doesn't. He cares about Shannon. That is his only purpose. The only thing he allows himself to, cherish is Shannon. God, what an interesting character Kanon is. When lunch ended, the relatives moved to the parlor. Moza had bought a high-class brand of black tea from a famous store in Ginza, that had been served, and the parlor was filled with a pleasant aroma. Since the children were there too, the adults tried to interact like normal relatives on the surface, talking peacefully about recent events, and now their children were growing up. It had started raining, so the children couldn't do anything but sit here like this, watching TV, unable to go outside. Maria was apparently a TV kid, and she kept watching a boring daytime program without getting bored, giggling all by herself. At first, Bador joined in, seeming to deepen his relationship with Maria. But he had gotten up early that morning and was gradually hit by a wave of drowsiness.
おや、大きなあくびだね。朝がずいぶん早かったんじゃないのかい？
ま、そんなとこだよ。 緊張が解けて雨の音を聞いてるうちに眠くなってきちまった。
緊張あんだけ態度でかそうにしてて緊張なんてしてたのかよ。
一応俺なりにはな。
Better give another great yawn and slowly lay down on the sofa. He really did look tired. George and the others had tried talking to him, thinking it was a sign of boredom, but when they realized he was really was sleepy, they decided to let him be.
おやおや、食事の後にすぐ横になるとサバになると申しますよ。
冗談よせやい。合田さん、今夜は子牛のステーキだって言ってたぜ。サバのステーキになっちまう。
熊沢さん、こいつ本当に眠いらしい。毛布を持ってきてあげてくれないかな。
さあどうぞ。
Kumasawa brought a blanket over from the shelf. The large parlor wasn't cold, but the air had gotten a little chilly. So when Bador took the blanket, he immediately wrapped himself up in it like a turtle. Bador
本当に
sleepy.
眠かったんだね。何時かに起きる？起こしてあげるよ。
あ、いや、特に希望は。なんか用があったら起こしてくれりゃいいし、なんにもねえんならずっと眠らせてくれりゃいいぜ。おやすみ。
Wait, is this how... Is Bador going to sleep through the whole Beatrice thing? I feel like that's going to be it. It's like the whole goddamn Luffy and Shanks thing. They can't meet up until like the last chapter of One Piece.
バトラン寝ちゃうの？お昼ね。お昼ね。マリアもする。こらマリア。バトラは眠いんだから放っておいてあげなきゃ。熊沢さん、もう一枚毛布をもらえるかな。
It was doubtful whether Maria really wanted to take a nap. She probably saw Bador wrapped up in a blanket and wanted to do the same. When she received a blanket from Kumasawa, she joyfully wrapped herself up in it and set up camp again in front of the TV.
せっかく6年ぶりにいとこがみんな揃ったってのによ。こいつ今回の親族会議の主賓だって自覚全然ねえな。
聞こえてるぞ。のんびり昼飯を食って、しかも外は台風で雨。何もすることがねえってことは、つまり俺の出番じゃねえってことさ。
Plus, it's not like there's anything going to happen at all.
それはどうかな。何も起こらないから何もしないなんて受け身の姿勢じゃ人生は退屈だよ。
Yeah, those are good words of wisdom.
違うぜ、そういう意味じゃない。なんつうのかな。こういう時、俺はこう思うことにしてる。出番じゃねえんだよ。こいつがお芝居だったならさ、俺の出番じゃねえってことなんだよ。だったら舞台袖でおとなしくしてるに限るってわけさ。
自分の人生はいつだって自分が主人公だろ。そんな脇役根性でどうすんだよ。自分から進んで舞台に上がらなきゃ。
そういう意味じゃねえ。今は俺の出番じゃねえって言いたいのさ。悪いな。眠くて思考がめちゃくちゃだ。
Interesting.
勘弁してくれ。
It's not my turn yet.
確かに眠くてなんだか支離滅裂なことを言ってるね。もうそっとしてあげようよ。
私は聞き捨てならねえぜ。自分の人生はいつだって自分が主人公だよ。 ちょっとそのあたり本格的にバトラと議論したいけどな。
寝ぼけてるだけだよ。深く考えちゃダメさ。
なんかさ、自分は主役になれないから舞台に上がりたくないみたいな根性、なぜだかすっげえうぜえって思って。
With this in eyes, Jessica gazed out the window at the gray rose garden obscured by rain. When she put her forehead up against the glass, a pleasantly cool sensation seemed to chase away memories she was trying to forget.
まだ君の出番じゃなかったってことなのかい。
Taking it back to Kanon.
じゃあいつ君は舞台に上がるんだよ。
In that case, who the heck is the main character on this stage? Good question. B. Oh shit. Meanwhile, in the fourth dimension.
もうやりたい放題じゃねえかよ。なんだこりゃよ。めちゃくちゃじゃねえか。
そなたがわらわを否定する根拠とする18人だの19人だのという理論が実に滑稽だったのでな。指し手を変えてみたまでよ。
Yep, I was right, different strategy.
そなたがわらわを否定する最大の根拠は単にわらわが駒としてゲーム盤に並ばなかったからというだけのこと。ならばこうしてクイーンを先に指せばいいだけの話ではないか。初手にてクイーンに道を開けるはチェスの王道ではないか。
I don't know, I'm not a chess player.
ふざけやがって。こんなの認められるわけねえじゃねえかよ。魔女が歩いて玄関からやってきただと。
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Yeah.
ふざけるんじゃね
え。なんだなんだ。前回のゲームではそなたに散々自由に手を進めさせたぞ。こたびはわらわがそなたの手に合わせて駒を動かしたに過ぎん。焦点にてもう降参か。
Nope, fuck you.
くそったれ。ふざけるな。誰が降参なんかするかってんだ。上等な指し手だぜ。好きに進めればいいじゃねえか。なるほどな。まだまだお前の出番は終わってないってわけだ。好きに手を進めりゃいい。今のうちに十分な陣形を築いとけ。俺が必ずしのぐ。必ず詰める。
Yeah!
言い訳なんてされたくねえ。存分に来やがるってんだ。まだまだこの程度じゃ魔女なんて認められるわけがねえぜ。そうさ。さっきマリアのお菓子を魔法で直したように見えたが、実は同じお菓子をもう一つ懐に忍ばせていて、芝居がかった方法ですり替えて、
Yeah!
魔法で直したみたいに見せただけかもしれない。ああ、そうそうに決まってる。ダメだぜ。全然ダメだぜ。
ほほう。ローザは歌詞が蝶に散る瞬間を見たぞ。
知らねえよ。そんなのは幻覚か手品か。さもなきゃ見間違いだろ。大した問題じゃねえ。
説明のつかぬ部分はさまつと切り捨てたか。なるほど、それがそなたの受け手であるな。墓穴を掘ったぞ、後ろ宮バトラー。
Shit.
お前の手番はまだ先だぞ。もうしばらくわらわの手番を進めさせてもらう。まだまだこれからだぞ、魔女の手番は。
Truly a chess game. When they started hearing Bador's snores, the relatives went their separate ways, leaving the parlor and letting Bador sleep in silence. Okay, it's all just part of a chess game, but we still don't know the strategy. We still don't know the mechanics of this game yet. That's the problem. We don't know the rules for it yet. So it's a bit hard to make assumptions, aka make moves in this chess game. Even though it had been so lively in the parlor, with so many people gathered there, when all of them scattered at once and were swallowed up by the vast mansion, it created an eerie silence with no sound except that of the rain. Let's see what happens now.
いや、そんな人間には一度も会ったことはないぜ。姉貴は。
会ったことなんてないわ。キリエさん、本当なの？
Oh.
私もちょっと玄関ホールに出た時に挨拶をしただけです。20歳ちょっとくらいに見えたわ。私は名乗ったんだけど、彼女は名乗らなかった。源氏さんに案内されて2階へ登っていくのを見たの。
なら源氏さんを見つけて直接話を聞いた方が早いやろ。しかし妙な雲行きになってきよったな。
The mystery woman had spoken to Kirei. Without naming herself, she sneered that Kirei should have had a vague idea as to her identity. That brought someone to mind. And then there was her lookalike, the witch in the portrait.
So そいつは自分が肖像画の魔女様だ、そう言いたいってのかよ。
私はそういう意味で笑ったんだろうと理解したわ。私とは初対面でも、私があなたの5歳だと知っているような口ぶりだった。
姉貴、本当にそんな奴は知らないんだな。
くどいわよ。そんな金髪女、この屋敷に出入りしたところなんて見たこともない。
そんなようなことはどうでもええで。問題はその女が自分はベアトリーチェだと名乗り、お父さんの財産管理人を名乗った場合の方や。
あるいは愛人の娘を自称して遺産の分配を要求するつもりかしら。いずれにせよとんでもないジョーカーが紛れ込んだものね。兄さんが呼んだの？それともお父様が？
まずいな。俺たちは兄貴をうまく言いくるめりゃなんとかできるものと思ってきた。
I'm wondering about the Beatrice we seen in episode 2. If she is a lookalike, you know, we saw that the doorknob scorched her hand. And once again, it goes back to that whole basis theory for the magic system, which is belief. Perhaps this lookalike, if she's able to convince everyone else around her, if she's able to convince 18 people that she is Beatrice, she is able to gain powers like that of a witch. I wonder, but why would this lookalike do that? For the money? Or for something else?
しかしこれじゃ話が振り出しに戻っちまう。
あなたが私の知らないところでどんな策謀を巡らしてたのか知らないけれど、どうも少しは対策を立てる時間を得られたみたいね。
ああ、その金髪姉ちゃんが晩飯の席で突然現れて俺らの度肝を抜くのに比べたら、今からわずかの時間でも対策を協議できる方がマシだ。
何しに現れたかわからへん以上、 撃てる対策も限られとるで。向こうの狙いは何なんや。
決まってるでしょ。お父様の遺産の正当な後継者だと言い張るためよ。お父様は未だにベアトリーチェの虜なのよ。その娘がいたなら全財産を譲りたいと言い出すはずだわ。妙な遺言状でも突きつけてくるかもしれない。そりゃ裁判沙汰にすれば半分の4分の1は主張できるかもしれないけど、多分決着するまで遺産分割はできなくなるわよ。それは困る。私もルドルフも、もちろんローザもね。
俺たちはそれぞれの都合で早急にまとまった金がいる。俺たち最大のウィークポイントってわけだ。なら狙いは何だ。キリエ、読めるか。
初耳なんだけれど、私たちには急ぎまとまったお金が必要だという前提があるのね。
キリエさん、男の商売には攻めの時にこそ軍資金が入りようになることもあるんや。それを分かってえな。
なーにルドルフ、キリエさんには話してなかったの？
すまん、隠してたわけじゃないんだ。実はちょいとした。
いいわ。あなたが私に話す必要がないと判断した話なんだから、それをこの場では追求しない。それより急務は黄金の魔女様の狙いを探ることなんでしょ？
Yeah.
ああ、俺たちの話を整理した上で敵の撃ってくる手が見えるか。
Rudolph had a certain measure of trust in Kirie's unique thinking technique, chessboard thinking. Of course, it didn't give him any more peace of mind than fortune-telling, but every time Rudolph was polishing up some important strategy, he'd give a great deal of thought to Kirie's advice. For a while, Kirie pressed her finger against her forehead, considering.
今日の今日まで彼女が訪れることが伏せられていた以上、彼女は私たちに何らかのサプライズを与える目的があった。それが財産なのか親族としての認知なのかは分かりかねるわ。でも今日の今日まで訪れることを伏せていたということは、事前に知らせることで対応を打たれたくなかったと言えるかもしれない。ということは、彼女の目的は対応を打たれると不利になるものらしい。わかる？
なるほどな。例えば親父が以前に書かせた遺言状そのものだとか、血縁の認知とそれを証明できるものだとか、そういうものを持ってきたと仮定して、それが揺るぎないもので盤石な証拠だというなら、むしろそれは予告するはずだろうよ。
そうね。むしろ疑う立場にある私たちに弁護士でも鑑定士でも連れてこさせて、グーの音も出ないくらいに事実を突きつけるべきなのよ。それができるならね。
つまり奇襲狙いという時点で敵は真正面からの正攻法では勝てんちゅうことを意味するわけやな。道理や。絶対勝てる切り札は堂々と切るに限るで。回りくどい切り方はむしろ切り札を曇らせるもんや。
Yeah, even though Beatrice is one more open in this episode, she is still hiding from the main family. She is still showing herself to those that truly believe in her, like Maria, Genji, and Kanon, for example. The only, exception was Rosa.
結論から言うと、皆さんがご就寝の遺産問題に直接もしくは間接的に絡む相当のサプライズが突きつけられると予想されるわね。
The interest, whether.
おそらく向こうは そのインパクトだけでこちらを圧倒できるつもりでいる。しかしその何かは相当のインパクトを伴いながらも絶対ではない。
つまりそこがこちらのつけ込む余地というわけね。
あんたはほんま頭の切れるお人や。これだけでも分かればだいぶ心強いで。つまり相手のペースに飲み込まれるなっちゅうことやな。
結局のところ非常にシンプルな結論よ。相手が何を切り出そうとも焦らず冷静に対応する。
It's true. The best how Beatrice works so far, as we saw from her, she deals with people's emotions. Like, she really tugs at their heart. She goes for the heart, not for the mind. She isn't a general, let's say. She's more of a tactician within emotions. You know.
交渉術の初歩の初歩じゃない。これじゃあ相手の思考を読めたとはとても言えないわ。
いいや、相変わらずなかなかのもんだぜ。こちらに攻める余地があると分かれば余裕も変わってくるってもんだ。
わからないのは彼女とクラウス兄さんの関係ね。
And be it that she's been alive for 1,000 years, she knows all the aspects of human emotions, which helps her to pit one another against each other or able to drive them insane.
クラウス兄さんにとってもサプライズなのか、それとも彼女を呼んだのは他でもないクラウス兄さん自身なのか。もし後者だったなら随分と厄介なことになるかもしれないわよ。
そうね。謎の女を親族会議の当日にこっそり呼びつける。いやらしいセンスがどことなく兄さんっぽい感じもする。
姉貴、こうしよう。女の正体がはっきりと証明できない限り、俺らはその女のいかなる身分も認めない。
それが最善ね。現に桐江さんに対して名乗ってすらいない。正体不明の女の発言で私たちの会議がかき回されちゃたまらないわ。
血縁証明でも示してみせるかもしれんで。お父さんの血が流れてることが例えば母子手帳でも示されたらどうにもならん。
証明物なんかいくらでも偽装を疑える。仮にそれが本物だったとしても当人が本人だと証明するには病院沙汰にしなきゃならん。少なくとも今の六軒島でそれを証明することは不可能だ。
その通りね。つまりこういうことよ。今の六軒島では何が示されても真実だと受け入れることはできない。台風が去ってしかるべき場所で証明してみせるまで何も信じられないってことよ。
I wonder, that's a good point. What if magic isn't able to work outside of Wokenjima? Because it's been said before about Beatrice that Wokenjima is a special place where both reality and the other side meet together within Twilight.
そういうので上げ足を取りまくるのは姉貴の得意技だな。任せるぜ。
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。あんたも協力するのよ。私たちにはお金がいる。それも急ぎまとまった額が。私たちは運命共同体よ。こんなところでひょっこり現れた謎の女に遺産の当てをぶち壊されてたまるもんですか。
Rudolph and Ava always formed a united front of siblings at times like this, sickened by the idea that their own inheritance might be snatched away by an outsider. Kyrie noticed how indomitable they looked, shook her head slightly, and gave a small sigh as she gazed out the window. Outside, it was still raining heavily, and everything was gray, having lost all vibrance. The lush garden that the sun had shone on earlier now felt like a lie. For some reason, the words Ava said a second ago kept repeating in Kirai's head. So in other words, it's something like this. No matter what's shown to us now in Wokenjima, it can't be accepted as truth. Yep. There was an odd nuance to those words. At that moment, the island was closed off by the typhoon and isolated. They had access to no public institutions and no hospital. So on this island, no matter what manner of proof related to the outside world was shown, it would always be possible to call it a lie. It would be impossible to prove that something was the truth. Now that they were isolated from the outside, all truths whose proof lay in the outside world would be called lies. So does that mean that right now in this Wokenjima, no truth exists at all? Does it mean that everything will now be ruled by lies alone? It almost gives the illusion that we've left the human world of truth, and we've been shut away inside another world, one of lies. Kirai remembered that woman's appearance one more time. It started raining when she appeared. She remembered both what she had looked like and the witch of the portrait. On this island, the witch had been cut off from the world of humans and shut away from the world of non-humans. A non-human being has come to visit. Kirai couldn't think of a smile that appeared on that woman's face as anything other than a potent of misfortune. I get the feeling my chessboard thinkings missed a vital premise. One that will be necessary to understand that misfortune-bearing smile. Yes, that smile made me feel as though someone inhuman was mocking me. I've based my reasonings on the assumption that our opponent is a human like us. However, just like this island is now, she may be a being that isn't human, and human values may not matter to her. If that's true, all of our reasoning is useless. For what reason has the witch been invited here today? Only one thing is certain. Now in this instant, she's staying somewhere in this vast mansion. Wokenjima cut off from the world, where truth has become wise, and where anything can now happen.
Maria.
Would make sense as this is the only day, or the only opportunity Beatrice has to appear in Wokenjima. This typhoon, this damn storm.
今日のお昼にお外で私たち会ったわよね。女の人に。あれは誰？
おお、何度も言ってる。ベアトリーチェ。
マリアは以前にベアトリーチェと会ったことがあるの？
うん。毎年会ってる。
Whoa.
毎年？
Every year.
この六軒島のお屋敷で？
おお。
じゃわからないでしょ。そうなの？
うん。
いつから会ってるの？何年前から？
わかんない。
わからない？どうして？去年？一昨年？
もっと前から。
Rosa was astonished. Only the usual Mira family mansion existed on this island. So there couldn't have been any humans other than themselves here. And yet Maria said she'd been meeting with this suspicious woman every year during this family conference. If what Maria said was the truth, then that strange woman called Beatrice had been at the family conference every year. That's insane. Is Maria saying that eerie woman was at the family conference every year and none of us ever noticed it? Even though Rosa had just met the woman herself a couple of hours ago in the rose garden, she was overcome with a strange emotion that told her not to accept that existence. What in the world did I meet with earlier today in the rose garden as the typhoon grew near and the winds roared?
マリア、あなたは毎年彼女と会ってると言ったわね。会って何をしてるの？
お歌を歌ったり、魔法を習ったり、魔法陣の書き方も習うの。
Huh. Okay.
So.
Another one of Beatrice's seeds, I guess.
それはすごいわね。マリアがよく自由帳に落書きじゃない魔法陣を書いたりしてるわよね。それも彼女に教えてもらったの？
ベアトリーチェにね、お手本書いてもらうの。ほらほら、見て見て。
Maria joyfully fished around in her handbag. Then she drew out a single notebook and began opening to that page. Most of the pages were covered with drawings that were wittily scribbles. All of them were occult-like things. And while it might sound rude to Maria, who was joyfully flipping through the pages, they were all creepy. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck. It's all the damn symbols we saw last time. Oh, fuck. Son of a bitch. Each one of the pages in the group Maria opened to had an eerie magic circle. Furthermore, at a glance, Rosa could see that Maria hadn't drawn them. The strength of the strokes, the thickness of the lines, how clean the shape was. By itself, it wasn't enough to guess the background of the person who had written it. But it was enough for Rosa to be sure that it was someone older than Maria. Rosa had to accept it now. There really was a person on this Wakajima that she herself hadn't known existed until now. And this person had come to the family conference every year to play with Maria.
マリア、その魔女のベアトリーチェはここに住んでるの？それとも私たちのように島の外に住んでいるの？
ベアトリーチェは六軒島の魔女だからこの島に住んでる。
じゃあ親族会議のない日にもこの島にいるという。じゃわからないでしょ。どうなの？
What in the... I can't believe it. How long has this unknown witch been living on this island? I used to live on this island. I lived on this island passing the time in the mansion in the rose garden. And even so, I never encountered a witch like that, right?
Mama?
I wonder. We've seen before that Beatrice has the power to erase memories. Interesting.
Mama? どうしたの？ママ？
Oh, shit. I was probably getting a little mixed up with my memories from when I was a young girl. When I was young, I was terrified of the witch, unlike Maria. So for me, the name Beatrice was a synonym for terror. Surely my fear from those days has been revived with the appearance of a woman going by that name. She can't be a witch. She's obviously a human calling herself Beatrice, right? That's right. That witch entrusted me with an envelope. What in the world could that be? Rosa pulled that western envelope out of her pocket. Yeah, what the fuck is in it? It was one of the envelopes that bore the usual Mira family crest, which Kinzo used for his personal letters. And its wet sealing wax had been sealed by the head's wing, which Kinzo held. Which meant this envelope belonged to the usual Mira family head. In other words, it was from father. Why was a woman calling herself Beatrice holding it, and why did she give it to me? That's right. I'm sure she said to read this aloud at dinner. What in the world could be inside? A sense of uncertainty gripped Rosa, as if opening this envelope might loose incredible misfortune. However, at the same time, a little curiosity sprouted up too, urging her to find out what was inside before the other siblings could. Using common sense, one might guess that it contained a huge decision that somehow related to father's inheritance. Actually, since he received it from a woman who called herself Beatrice, there simply had to be some connection. Does it mean this person wants not just 4, but a total of 5 people to be included in the inheritance? I need to watch your sum of money, and I can't wait long. I feel like such a sinful daughter for discussing father's inheritance while he's still alive. But this is no time to sprout out cheap ideals. And I've included Rudolph Nissan and Eva Nissan in order to get some money out of Cross Nissan. Coming from that position, I can't help but see the appearance of the witch as a sign of approaching misfortune. What could be written in here? I'm sure it's something frightening. Shall I read it secretly myself first? The witch requested that it be read at the dinner table if everyone gathered. But if that's what she wanted, why couldn't she just read it aloud herself at dinner? Why did she go to all the trouble entrusting it to me? That's a good question. Simply put, is it because she doesn't mind if I read it secretly beforehand? It'd be better to secretly read the contents first. I understand that mean breaking my promise, but this is no longer the time for cheap ideals. Depending on the contents, I could probably discuss it with Eva Nissan and Rudolph Nissan too. They're always really good thinkers when it comes to this kind of thing. And I gulped and put my hand to the wet sealing wax. Something suddenly pulled on my sleeve and I let out a small scream.
マリアなの。驚かせないで。何？
ダメ。
Ooh. Maria's expression was the same portent of misfortune she felt from that witch and sent a tingle up her spine.
ベアトリーチェはママにその手紙は晩餐で読みなさいって言った。魔女の約束は破っちゃダメだよ。
Now, I might be remembering wrong. But if I remember perfectly from last time, there was 2 letters. One for Maria, and one given to Rosa.
違うわよ。
So if Rosa has the inheritance letter, what letter does Maria have?
ちょっと封筒を見ただけじゃない。約束は守るわよ。ママもいつもマリアに約束は守りなさいって言ってるもんね。ママももちろん約束は守るわよ。
ママはいい子。
その笑い方可愛くないからやめなさい。
おお。
Yeah.
そういえばマリアも封筒をもらったわよね。中には何て書いてあったの？
開けてない。ベアトリーチェは開ける時が来るまで開けちゃダメって言っ
The time to open it.
た。だから大事に持ってる。
そうマリアはベアトリーチェの言うことはちゃんと聞くのね。
マリアはベアトリーチェの弟子だから、お師匠の言うことはちゃんと聞くの。
Rosa realized something. Mixed in with Maria's gaze was the glint of someone that wasn't her. If Rosa broke the rules and opened the envelope here, Beatrice would definitely learn of it. Because Maria was the witch's disciple. Maria was in contact with that witch.
ママは約束を守るわ。だから安心するようベアトリーチェに言ってね。
伝える。
ねえマリア、ベアトリーチェとお話をしたいんだけど、どうすれば会えるのかしら。
Just walk down the hallway and turn left.
知らない。ベアトリーチェはとても気まぐれだから、いつも突然姿を現すの。マリアからは会う方法を知らない。でもね、いつもマリアのことを見てるの。だからマリアが困っていると後できっと助けてくれるの。きっとね、姿を消してマリアの近くに隠れてるんだよ。
Erased her form, huh?
その笑いをやめなさいといつも言ってるでしょ。
Rosa effectively hit Maria in the head. That put a stop to Maria's laughing, but it wasn't able to ease the color that was into those eyes. The color that seemed to bear a portent of misfortune. Rosa swore. She swore that at least until they left this island, she would not leave Maria alone. She couldn't allow an unknown being to make direct contact with her daughter any longer. What does it all mean? What does it all mean? I have no fucking idea. Fuck.
マリア、戻ってこねえな。またローザおばさんに叱られてるのかな。
Ever since I met Maria at the airport, she'd been romping around, chatting about Halloween the whole time. But maybe she cut loose a little too much. Acting a little too boisterous on the plane, on the boat, and during lunch because Rosa had cautioned her several times. At times like that, Aunt Rosa tended not to scold her much in front of people. More often, she would take Maria aside and scold her alone. So since Maria had been called off somewhere, they figured she must be getting scolded. When they looked at the clock, they realized it was almost 6. Of course, they couldn't imagine she'd been getting scolded all this time. Maybe it was time for some anime she watched every week to start. She probably hadn't left the mansion's parlor.
ひょっとするとバトラ様がお目覚めになって一緒に遊ばれているのかもしれませんね。
So Battler is still sleeping at this point.
マリアちゃんにとってバトラ君は新しい友達のような感じだったろうからね。そのバトラ君と飛行場でハロウィンごっこをするのがきっととても楽しかったんだよ。
バトラもずいぶんはしゃいでたな。あいつ図体はでかくなったってのに 中身は昔から全然変わらねえぜ。
そうですね。バトラ様は6年前のままでいてくださった気がします。
シャノンは6年前のバトラ君のこと覚えてるんだ。
ええ。何しろ大層お元気な方でしたから。
僕も6年前に4人で遊んだことを思い出すよ。シャノンはだいぶお姉さん風だったね。
そうだな。今よりしっかりしてた気がするぜ。
それはあの頃は身の程をわきまえておりませんでしたもので、いろいろと失礼いたしました。
いいよ、そんな礼儀云々は。仕事中はともかく、こうして休み時間に過ごす時の僕らはあの頃から変わらない仲良しで居続けたいね。
そうだぜ。使用人のシャノンとオフの時の作用は使い分けていいだろう。奴隷じゃないんだぜ。使用人の仕事をしてるだけじゃないかよ。私はシャノンとは、サヨとは一番古い友人だと思ってるぜ。
ありがとうございます、お嬢様。
It seemed that Shannon understood the hidden meaning behind Jessica's words. After all, she heard a bit about Jessica and Kanon's history from both of them. Apparently, George had heard something of that history too. He walked towards the window and looked up at the darkening, rainy sky.
カノン君はまだ幼いのに考え方が少し背伸びしてるところがあると思うんです。
いや、もうよしてくれよ。まあ私も雰囲気に流されてたところはあったと思うしさ。まあシャノンたちのことを見てちょっと羨ましいとか思って気がせいていたところもあったかもしれねえな。私のことなんかどうでもいいだろ。それよりジョージ兄さんたちの方はどういう感じなんだよ。だいぶいい感じなんだろ。
どうなんでしょう。
とてもいい感じだよ。
Shannon was lost for words, her face red, while George answered brightly and immediately. That carefree attitude made it easy to see that the relationship was proceeding so perfectly, it'd make anyone envious.
やけるぜ。ってことはシャノンもそのうち寿大社ってわけなんだ。
どうなんでしょう。私には
どうなんだろうね。僕にもわからないね。
George laughed teasingly as though pressing Shannon for an answer. It was probably the way they usually flirted when they were alone. Jessica could only smile bitterly and say yes, yes, thank you, that's enough.
僕には夢がある。それは一国一城の主になりたいというビジネス的な野望だけじゃない。生涯を共にできる伴侶と幸せな家族を築きたいという夢もある。
It's a goddamn good dream, man.
子供は最低でも2人欲しいとか、家族で一緒にできるスポーツをしたいねとか、他にもいろいろ。そんな話をよくシャノンとはするよ。こんなことを話すといつもシャノンには気が早いですねと笑われるんだけど、僕はこの年のうちからもうなぜか落ち着いた老後のことを考えてしまうんだよ。元気に成長した子供たちと駆け回る孫たちと、そういうものに囲まれていつまでもシャノンと2人ゆっくりと余生を送れたらなって。
そりゃ確かに気の早い話だぜ。でもなんていうのか、そのジョージ兄さんらしい話だな。
そんな家族に囲まれたらさぞ素敵でしょうね。私が思い描いていた理想の家族もそんな感じだったと思います。
Well, I mean, Kenzo has that. He's just being a bitch about it. Or maybe he doesn't have anyone to sit beside him as, however. Except for Beatrice-sama. To Shannon, who had been raised in an orphanage, that harmonious image of a family was probably something to be yearned for. And George, who had made an absolute promise to grant that wish for her, may truly have been a fitting person for her to spend her life with. To Jessica, Shannon was a precious friend. George was surely the one most fit to trust that friend's future too.
まあ水を差すわけじゃねえけど、秀吉おじさんはともかくエヴァおばさんとかどうなわけ？
Yeah, Hideyoshi would probably be cool with it, but hey though.
説得は大変じゃないの？
そんなことは誰も気にする必要はないよ。僕が誰を伴侶に選ぶかは誰にもはばかられない。
My man.
シャノンは僕が幸せにする。
My man.
それに誰の許可が？
My man.
ジョージ兄さんかっこいいぜ。よくそんな恥ずかしいセリフを堂々と。昔の兄さんはそういうキャラじゃなかったと思ったんだけどな。
男子3日合わざれば刮目して待つべしさ。僕だって成長する。シャノンを幸せにするために僕はもっともっと勉強してふさわしい男に成長するつもりだよ。
Maybe even George realized how embarrassing the words coming out of his mouth were. His face turned very slightly red and he scratched his head.
ジョージさん。
大丈夫。母さんは確かにごねるかもしれないけど、僕に任せておけばいい。親族全員に君が僕の伴侶だと認めさせてみせる。
すっげえな。シャノンが羨ましいぜまったく。
そこまで言ってもらえて、恐縮です。
っていうかよ、私はお邪魔虫なんじゃないかって気がしてきたぜ。席を外した方がいいか？
As Jessica rose with a forced smile from the bed she'd been sitting on, phone rang. Before Jessica picked up the receiver, wondering what this could be about, Shannon looked at the clock and jumped. Apparently she spent too much time on her break.
すみません。私、お勤めの時間を忘れておりました。これで失礼します。
At the same time Jessica picked up the phone, Shannon began dashing out of the room.
シャノン。また、いつもの時間に、いつもの場所で。
はい。失礼します。
もしもし、ジェシカです。ああ、ゲンジさん。はい。シャノンは今そっちに戻ってますよ。私たちが引き止めちゃったんです。叱らないでやってください。ええ、はい。
そっか。もうじき夕飯の準備の時間なんだね。
Probably just going to be another boring dinner. Many plates were lined up at the counter in the kitchen. Preparations for dinner were proceeding steadily. The number of plates lined up there was 19. That was one more than should have been set up for the annual family conference.
納得できません。どうして私が直接お届けに上がってはならないのですか。
Gorda-san fired up at Genji, paying no heed to the pot that was spitting steam. The master enjoyed eating alone in his study, so his food needed to be served in that room. However, that was something that always happened. Of course, Gorda-san would want to set the table for the master with his own hands, since he put his heart and soul into his cooking. But the master had imposed a strict rule that none but the servants bearing the golden eagle crest enter his study. So while Gorda-san would be able to greet the master from outside his study, not once had he been granted the honor of carrying his cooking inside. Gorda-san was always irritated by this. Of course, he was a newcomer in terms of years of service. However, he had piled up plenty of experience from his previous jobs, and he was kind of confident that he'd be able to perform in front of Kinzo in a manner that he would do him no disservice. And yet, simply because he was not permitted to wear the golden eagle, he still hadn't been blessed with his dishonor.
それが彼のプライドをどれほど傷つけていたか想像できるでしょうか。では今夜も再びそれを蒸し返しているのかというとそうではありません。今夜は親方様の他にもお部屋まで食事を運んでもらいたいという方がおられるからです。その人物は非常に稀な賓客らしく、当主である親方様と同格の扱いをするようにきつく厳命されておりました。郷田さんはこの賓客にぜひ自らの手で配膳してポイントを稼ぎたかったに違いありません。
So Beatrice isn't going to show up at the dinner. She's still hiding away. She's shown herself to some people, but she's still hiding. Which is, I feel like, a very important thing to take note of.
虚栄心のお強い方でございますから。親方様に配膳する資格はなくても、せめてそれと同格の来客には。昼食はどうしても手が開かず、カノンさんに言ってもらった。だから一年で最高の晩餐である今夜の食事をぜひ自分の手で配膳したかったのです。ですがそれを源氏さんに咎められたのでございます。郷田さんに片翼の足がないからということのようです。再び資格がないと咎められ、郷田さんの堪忍袋の緒が切れてしまったのでございます。おいたわしや郷田さん。私は物陰からこうして見守るしかないのでございます。
熊沢さん、油を売っている暇があったら食堂の準備をしてきてください。テーブルクロスは大丈夫ですか？
これは失礼を。
Little boy. Kumasawa, what a hoot. Also, Kumasawa is kind of like the audience, always from the shadows, unable to do anything. But I kind of, I get Goda's situation. If I was a fucking, new employee to this place, it's like, what the fuck, man? This is kind of bullshit, And when it became her turn to bury his wife, Kumasawa slid out into the hall. Yeah, Goda's about to beat someone to death.
親方様と全く同格のお方です。ルールも親方様のそれと同じものを尊ばなくてはならない。郷田は自分の仕事に専念し、親族の皆さんのお相手をするよう。
そのようなお客様相手に源氏さんならともかくこんな子供を生かせていいのですか？もし何かの粗相があったら失礼にあたります。確かに彼らの年季は長いですが、しかるべきところで修行をしたことがあるわけじゃない。
Oh no, Shan's gonna serve Beatrice. Oh fuck.
正直に申し上げて、お客様に接する基礎ができていないのです。
Goto spoke bluntly, even though Shannon was standing right there in the kitchen. Oh, God. Ooh, damn. Shannon was the one whom Genji had ordered to carry dinner to Beatrice's room. By the ranking system among the servants permitted to wear the Golden Eagle, Shannon generally was the second highest in rank. If the highest ranked Genji went to set the table in Kenzo's room, then it fell to Shannon to set the table in Beatrice's room. Gota's pride was probably horribly injured by this ranking system. At times like this, he spoke out bluntly and rudely against Shannon and Kanon. Gota kept raising examples of each of Shannon's failures until now, making a ruckus about how she couldn't do this or was terrible at that. Shannon, who listened to this with her head hung in shame, heard Kanon's voice from behind her. Kanon had been running against the wall in the hallway near the kitchen entrance, a blind spot from the inside, and listening to all of this. She probably knew that if he entered the kitchen, sparks would start to fly his way.
言わせておきなよ。最低の男だ。
でも接待の基礎の勉強になるし、合田さんはたくさん勉強してるからとても参考に。
姉さんは優しいね。
それより貴賓室のお客様がベアトリーチェ様だというのは本当なの？
うん。昼食の配膳に行かされた時にあった。間違いなくあいつだったよ。
そう。お元気そうだった？
Kanon remembered that he and Shannon had different impressions of Beatrice. Shannon, Beatrice was a cupid of love who had granted her magic to establish a relationship with George. Judging by the expression that rose to her face, it looked like she couldn't wait to inform Beatrice of how her relationship with George had progressed. However, Kanon already knew that Witch came here with a terrifying goal in mind. The nebulous witch that only they'd been able to see in the past had now revived so fully that she could walk in all the way through the front door, and even have dinner carried to her. When she vanished from in front of Kanon, the witch said something about her own power was still weak. Yup. So if that witch was now appearing so openly, didn't mean she finally gained her former power. And she said something else too. She definitely said that she'd sown the seeds of love while fully aware that they would fall. And she said even more. She definitely said that the day had finally come upon which the door to the Golden Land would be opened.
Shannon. あいつは親方様と何かの怪しげな儀式をし、きっと想像もできない恐ろしいことをする。それには誰も抗えない。
何の話なの？
あいつはやってきたんだ。親方様が求めた黄金鏡の扉を開き、全てを黄金鏡に戻すために。あいつは僕に確かにそう言った。
In the past, the two of them, as furniture working for Kenzo, had been told what opening of the door to the Golden Land meant. So Shannon understood everything without having to ask a single question. And because of that, she felt a deep despair. Something tore at Kanon's heart as he looked at that expression twisted with grief.
そうだ。どうして今になって。
だから言ったんだ。僕らは家具だって。人間の真似事なんかして恋なんかするから、僕たちの役目の終わるこの日を素直に受け入れられない。
いつかこの日が訪れることを かつては願ってた。でもいつまで経っても訪れなくて。
So Kinzo has told the servants before, the opening of the Golden Land is death. That's basically what they're saying. So they've always prepared for it, to die for it, because their service will finally end.
私たちはいつまで家具として苦しめばいいのかわからなくて。だから私思ったの。安息の日なんて永遠に訪れないんだって。
僕だってそう思ってたさ。でも必ずいつか訪れるって僕は信じてた。
Is this why they became furniture? In order to have the door to the Golden Land finally open, so they can rest?
だから僕は家具としての自覚を忘れなかったんだ。
Huh.
なのに姉さんは忘れた。
私が悪いのね。私が。
ああ、姉さんが悪い。姉さんさえ恋を覚えなかったら。
Oh, Kanon.
僕たちはようやく訪れた今日を喜び合うはずだった。
What? So you finally deaths?
姉さんがくだらない未練を作ってしまったんだ。必ず去らなければならない世界なのに。
This world.
儀式は今夜始まるの。
あとあいつは僕に言った。今夜ジョージ様は姉さんに婚約指輪を贈るだろうって。
Oh shit. That was a fact. George supposedly had an engagement ring hidden in his pocket today, and surely he would hand it over tonight.
あいつは姉さんとジョージ様を第二の番の生贄に使うつもりで二人の仲をくっつけたんだ。わかる？姉さんはあいつにそそのかされた上利用されたんだよ。
そうだったの。考えたこともなかったわ。
でもあいつは言ったよ。もし今夜その婚約指輪を受け取らなかったなら姉さんを生贄に選ばないと約束した。
Oh, fuck.
僕たちが揃って黄金鏡へ行ける確率はとても低いと思う。
Oh, shit.
13人が生贄になる。生き残るのは5人だけ。その中に僕たち2人が入れる確率は本当に低い。でも姉さんだけでもその約束が得られるなら確率はもっと上がる。
No, they didn't wait for their deaths. They became furniture in order to go to the Golden Land. I have to tell you, that damn orphanage had fucking propaganda. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Brainwash these poor fucking kids to part of this shit. Fucking Kinzo.
僕はかけたいんだ。
Or at least not the orphanage itself, but the ones taken in by Kinzo. Brainwashed by this shit, man.
黄金鏡には救いがある。僕たちはそこへたどり着き人間を手に入れるんだ。そして姉さんと2人で人間としての人生を歩みたいんだよ。そうすれば本当の恋だってできるかもしれない。
かつての私たちは 黄金鏡へ行けることを夢見てたね。そこへ行けばどんな願いでも叶う。私たちをこの苦しみから救ってくれる。そう信じてた。
However, in this ceremony, only a few people would be invited to the Golden Land, chosen by fate and chance. Everyone else would lose their life as a sacrifice midway through the ceremony. However, in the past, Shannon and Kanon had thought that whether they reached the Golden Land or were sacrificed, they would still be released from their duties as furniture. That meant the ceremony would definitely bring release to furniture like them, no matter what happened.
僕は嫌だ。これまでの辛かった分を姉さんと取り戻したい。生贄なんてごめんだ。僕と姉さんは生き残る。そして二人で黄金鏡へたどり着く。だから姉さんを第二の番の生贄になんかさせない。頼むよ姉さん。あの男の指輪を受け取らないで。それを受け取らなければあいつは姉さんを生贄には選ばないと約束してくれた。
それはできないよ。今夜の指輪はとても特別なもの。それを受け取らないことは。
姉さん、儀式の生贄は魔女が気まぐれに決めることになってる。その魔女が姉さんだけは見逃すと約束してくれたんだよ。姉さんだけは絶対に黄金鏡へ行けるんだ。
私だけ？カノン君は？
僕は魔女のゲームで十分さ。あいつの魔女なんかかいくぐってやる。僕は無力じゃない。わずかの確率を無理やり掴み取ってやる。僕たちのせいなんて所詮は仮初めじゃないか。本当の人生を始めるために僕たちは黄金鏡へたどり着こう。そして人間を手に入れよう。そうしたらさ、僕も姉さんみたいに恋が知れるかな。
Christ.
もう家具だからって人を泣かせずに済むかな。僕はもう家具は嫌だ。絶対に人間になってやる。こんな苦しみから絶対に。
There were tears in Ken's eyes. By now, Ken had noticed Shannon had been the only one to know and suffer from the taste of love. He had too. The tears Jessica had shown him that day, and Jessica's pitiful face as she tried to smooth things over and stay even bright ever since then, had slowly watched some kind of change in Ken's heart without him knowing it.
Shannon.
God. Fuck, man. This makes me, oh my god, makes me feel so sad for those two. Brainwashed into this damn golden land, you know, death, pretty much purgatory, whatever you want to call it. Forced to become furniture, forced to not be human, be just furniture. In order to have that chance, that swim chance, by the way, swim chance to go to this golden land. that Kenzo has probably convinced him of. Maybe even Genji too. So that has to be the reason why Kanon so refusively wants to stay furniture. Because he truly believes that after this, after all this suffering, after everything he's done as not living as a person, that he'll finally become a human in the afterlife, the golden land. God, it makes me so fucking sad. Oh, God. God damn it, Kenzo.
さっきから呼んでいる。
Shannon jumped at the sudden sound of Genji's voice. Apparently he had called for her repeatedly. She heard what he answered. When she turned back, Kanon disappeared. It seemed he didn't feel like showing his tears to anybody.
はい。ぼんやりしていてすみません。
昼食はカノンに頼んだが、本来は私の次の序列のお前が運ぶべきものだ。ベアトリーチェ様は当家の最高の賓客だ。それ以上の賓客はいない。もう一人の親方様と思い、丁重に頼む。
よろしいですか。くれぐれも粗相のないようにお願いしますよ。経験の未熟なあなたに託すのは非常に心苦しいですが、当家のルールとあっては仕方ありません。くれぐれも頼みますよ。
Goda had officially agreed, but he glared at Shannon with an expression that told her he definitely wouldn't forgive any mistakes. Don't be such an asshole, Goda. Even Shannon felt that Goda might as well go himself if he was so desperate to go. But she considered this one of her responsibilities as the one who had been allowed to wear the golden eagle and had to give up. And anyway, I wanted to meet Beatrice. What will I talk about? What will I ask? I don't know. Will this be a meeting of gratitude? Or one of grief? Or else, what? I don't know. Shannon piled the witch's food onto the serving cart and left the kitchen at a slow pace. Okay. I think this is a good stopping point. We weren't quite a little bit, more deeply into Beatrice's methods and possibly why she does what she does, but I feel like we finally warned the reason why Shannon and Kanon so desperately want to be furniture, you know. And I like how in both of them, they, you know, there's a part of them that doesn't want to be furniture. Shannon with, you know, her romance with George, but within Kanon, with his rebelliousness against the witch, he doesn't like it. He wants to go to the Golden Land, but he doesn't like this game. He doesn't at all. Yet he still goes along with it, just for that slim chance that Shannon would be able to go, or best case scenario, both of them go to this Golden Land, whatever the hell it is. It's interesting. All these characters are so fascinating. You know, so just absolutely great writing. I just love every second of it. Just all these great complex characters, you know, balancing off each other. It's always so great to experience. So anyway, if you guys enjoy this type of content, hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something, put it down in the comments as well. Check out Discord server I hang out in, or my Twitter, check subscription below. And yeah, it's been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya!